ABC News Special Report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
Good morning. I'm coming back on the air right now because President Trump has now responded to that major breaking news of the morning that his former lawyer, fixer Michael Cohen, has pled guilty to making a false statement to Congress about a Trump Tower project in Moscow that he worked on during the presidential campaign in 2016. This is part of a plea deal he has reached. You see him leaving the courthouse there in Manhattan with his attorney, a plea deal he has reached with the special counsel Robert Mueller in the Russia investigation. Michael Cohen, of course, a longtime confidant and lawyer to President Trump, was working on the Trump Tower during the 2016 campaign, lied about it in 2017, and this is what he said in court this morning. I made these statements to be consistent with individual one's messaging and to be loyal to individual one. I'm here with our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Individual one, President Trump.
Right. And so the question becomes, who else may have made statements to make sure that that narrative was consistent on this issue, and why? This basically relates to, when did they stop trying to do business in Russia? A big business in Russia. Was it just sort of a little thing that they discussed and dismissed in January, or was it something big?
How deep into the campaign? President Trump on the South Lawn.
Made many statements to the House, as I understand it, and the Senate. He put out a statement talking about, which was essentially and I guess even so we're not talking about project. I'll have to put it into legal terms, but he was convicted with a totally unrelated cheating on running for president. There would be nothing wrong if I did do it. I was running my business while I was campaigning. There was a good chance that I wouldn't have won, in which case I would have gone back into the business. And why should I lose lots of opportunities? So here's the story. Go back and look at the paper that Michael Cohen wrote before he testified in the House and/or Senate. It talked about his position. What he's trying to do, because he's a weak person and not a very smart person, what he's trying to do is end, and it's very simple. He's got himself a big prison sentence, and he's trying to get a much lesser prison sentence by making up a story. Now, here's the thing. Even if he was right, it doesn't matter, because I was allowed to do whatever I wanted during the campaign. I was running my business, a lot of different things during the campaign. So very simply, Michael Cohen is lying, and he's trying to get a reduced sentence for things that have nothing to do with me. Now, let me go a step further. I think you should go back to, I think it was January. It was just reported very well by Catherine Herridge, who's a terrific reporter on Fox. She talks about a letter that he signed. I don't even remember it. And it specifically talks about this deal. This deal was a very public deal. Everybody knows about this deal. I wasn't trying to hide anything. Okay. I cannot understand.
Are supporting groups like Hamas and Hezbollah in Syria and Palestine. So when you see Putin, what are you going to tell him about these activities?
Well, we're going to talk about it, but we have a lot of things to talk about.
President, you're going into a summit shortly. What is your sense about a trade deal with China? What do you expect to say to Mr. Xi?
I think we're very close to doing something with China, but I don't know that I want to do it, because what we have right now is billions and billions of dollars coming into the United States in the form of tariffs or taxes. So I really don't know, but I will tell you that I think China wants to make a deal. I'm open to making a deal, but frankly, I like the deal we have right now. I probably will be meeting with President Putin. We haven't terminated that meeting. I was thinking about it, but we haven't. They'd like to have it. I think it's a very good time to have the meeting. I'm getting a full report on the plane as to what happened with respect to that. and that will determine what I'm going to do.
Why aren't you meeting with the Crown Prince?
You said you were getting a full report on Tuesday. Did you get that report and what did it say?
Well, I have a couple of reports. We're getting a finalized report. Are you talking about on the Russian situation with the ship and the Ukraine? Yeah. We're getting a finalized report. I'm going to have it on the plane sometime today.
Why aren't you meeting with the Crown Prince? Why aren't you meeting with the Crown Prince? Do you not think it's important to hear his denial of killing Khashoggi or having knowledge of it in person?
It only wasn't set up. I mean, I would have met with him, but we didn't set that one up. I'm meeting with President Xi, which is a very important meeting, having to do with trade. And as you know, I'm making about 3 or 4 meetings. We just didn't have time.
If Cohen is...
Are you going to be raising the case of the 2 Americans being held in China with President Xi?
I'm going to bring it up, yes. I don't hear you. You got to talk. You can see that? You have a helicopter.
It seems like you're leaning toward pardoning Paul Manafort. Is that true?
No, the question was asked yesterday about pardons with respect to Paul Manafort, who... It's very sad what's happened to Paul, the way he's being treated. I've never seen anybody treated so poorly. But the question was asked to me by the New York Post, and I said, no, I have not offered any pardons. And I think they asked, or whatever, would you? I said, I'm not taking anything off the table. That was done as a question from the New York Post.
Did you tell Michael Cohen what to tell Bob Mueller? Did you tell Michael Cohen what to tell Robert Mueller?
If Cohen is such a bum, why did you hire him, have him on your payroll for 12 years, and have him do so much of your dirty work?
Because a long time ago, he did me a favor. A long time ago, he did me a favor. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not worried at all about him. You just take a look at his written document. Go back, take a look at what he wrote in, I think, January. He has a written statement, and that's the fact. Yeah.
But you think that Bill is entailed with Russia. There is a campaign in the city of Strasbourg. We want to push people to vote for the European election, saying, friends, we don't want the European Union to be like Trump's America. What do you want to tell them? What do you want?
I don't know what, you know, you can't with a helicopter.
Yeah, but what do you want to
say? A possible shutdown if we don't get the wall money. A very possible. We're in negotiation. If we don't get border security, possible shutdown. See you over there.
There you have it. President Trump responding to that major breaking news this morning. Michael Cohen's new plea deal with Special Counsel Robert Mueller in the Russia investigation. I'm here with our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega. The president's core message right there. Nothing to worry about. Michael Cohen's a liar.
And that's what we expected. He's been calling Michael Cohen a liar for a long time, but you can't escape the reality. Michael Cohen was among those in the president's innermost circle for a number of years. I'm struck by a handful of things the president just said out there, that he decided against the Trump Tower Moscow building, but nothing would have stopped him if he wanted to go forward with it. He just decided on his own, he's essentially saying, to run for office instead of pursuing this project. The question for President Trump right now is not whether it was okay for him back in 2016 to move forward with a business deal. It's whether he has been telling the truth then and since then about his dealings with Russia. And he has repeatedly said time and time again, I had no dealings with Russia. I don't know Vladimir Putin. We just pulled an old tweet, 2016, July 26th. For the record, I have zero investments in Russia. If you believe Michael Cohen, there was an opposite happening.
Well, he was trying to get an investment in Russia.
Russia.
The other, was President Trump asked about this by Robert Mueller? And the questions we believe he was. We don't know how he answered it.
Right. And so President Trump is right that when he says, look, I was allowed to continue working on my businesses while I was running. That's true. The question is, did he and then others potentially lie about it because of something bigger with Russia? That's the big question.
Yeah, because
here.
It's not just the lying about it. Potentially, here's another potentially. If this deal kept on going later into the summer at a time when we know that the Republican platform was changed to sort of favor the Russians, and if it was shown to have the president being involved in that, then there could be a connection.
Absolutely, and that's the question, right? So it's not just did he have a business in Russia in a vacuum. That's a separate question. and not a particularly important one, as the president points out. The bigger question is, did he tell the truth about it? Did he order or instruct other people to lie about it? And then the question becomes why and what was the impact?
And of course, this is only what Michael Cohen has pled to. He spent 70 hours with Robert Mueller. We don't know every subject. It wouldn't be revealed in these filings today, every subject that he talked about with Robert Mueller.
Correct. And all we know from this document is 3 stated lies, 1 plea deal, 1 guilty plea on a particular count.
And a connection to President Trump, given what Michael Cohen said in court.
Correct. Correct. A connection to President Trump, but this doesn't necessarily take it to the next level of collusion with Russia or whatever the case may be.
More to come.
Yeah.
See you, Dan. Thanks very much. Back to our regular programming.
This has been a special report from ABC News.